Hello, everybody, and welcome. Diddy here with Destiny Hotfix 2.5.0.2 or 2502, if you will. We're going to go over these balance changes. We just talked about it. I just recorded Destiny the show, episode 136, I believe, with BBK, talking about our opinions on the changes. But I want to go in a little bit more detail because that show, we just go over the changes, what they are, and we don't get a lot of discussion going back and forth. So what this video is, I want to do is a little bit more in-depth analysis of the actual patch. So let's go ahead and go over these notes. I have Destiny open here on my other monitor, which I might be able to move over here. But we are in Destiny Hotfix 2.5.0.2. Start off right off the bat with Crucible special ammo changes. Adjusted special ammo economy basically throughout the Crucible. This is huge. This is absolutely game-changing because special ammo spawns in quicker every 60 seconds, and you lose special ammo on death. You initially spawn in, you lose it on death. That is huge. Way less special ammo across the board, in my opinion, for the Crucible. And that's I'm not mainly a PvP guy, but I do play PvP from time to time. So this change is going to be noticeable, and it's going to drastically change how people play the Crucible. You're going to have to be you're going to have to be timing those special ammo crates a lot more and a lot more consistently throughout the match, because dying and losing your special if you're using anything other than a sidearm, because sidearms are unaffected by this change, it's going to be huge, because you're going to have to communicate with your teammates, hey, you need to be closer to this special ammo crate when I pull it, and it spawns more frequently, so more team communication. I'm going to anticipate seeing that as well, and the elimination changes as well are going to speed up the game quite a bit here, and round time limit has been reduced to 90 seconds down from 2 minutes. That's a fourth of the time, basically. Players only start with special ammo for the first round. Special ammo timing is 30 seconds on the initial spawn, so it takes 30 minutes after you spawn into the round for special ammo to spawn, and then 45 seconds after that first pull of the special ammo. So you only get special twice per round if you pull it right away, of course. Special ammo is wiped at the beginning of subsequent rounds. So less special ammo across the board from or in trials or elimination game modes, I should say. But I'm going to mainly focus on trials here because let's be honest, that's the main elimination game mode people play, is Trials of Osiris. And so with this change, quicker paced games, of course, I'm going to expect to see a lot more No Land Beyond and Sidearm combos because that's No Land Beyond is sniper rifle, right? Snipers are going to be so effective. They're already so effective in trials, because if you get the jump on anybody, on any enemy, sniper's king there, because across the map, you're going to be able to take them out pretty quick there. And always having sniper ammo is going to be a very good thing, because No Land Beyond is in that primary slot, of course. Sidearm as well. You have that special ammo for the close to kind of medium range encounters, because, oh my gosh, sidearms still have the ability to roll rangefinder. So I have a Jabberhocky sidearm that has rangefinder on it, so it's going to be pretty good. So, and then sidearms not being able to lose that special ammo on death, of course that's going to be more reliable in Crucible, because you're always going to have that sidearm in your pocket. You're always going to have ammo for it. You're always going to have sniper ammo for your No Land Beyond, because it's in the primary slot. So I think that's going to be a really, really good combo in trials moving forward. Onto the weapon changes, hand cannons. I'm very sad about the hand cannon changes. I'm actually going to pull over my Destiny thing real quick. Significantly increased accuracy, or initial accuracy, returns to launch and year one changes. That's very good. I've seen across the board. Triple Rec put out a video earlier. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but the special ammo or the hand cannon changes are making them more reliable. You know, consistently hitting those sequential shots after the first one. Bloom is no longer that big of an issue anymore. Bloom is, if you spam the trigger, the bullet has a chance to not go where you're aiming, because the bloom increases with each shot. So that's apparently not that relevant anymore. So, or not a big of a thing. I said I was going to pull up my Destiny thing. Let's go ahead and do that. This is just my capture program. So I have a couple hand cannons here. Ill Will, I got this really nice Ill Will the other day. It is fantastic. So rangefinder, of course, I don't have a range perk on it, but every single shot after the fact is a little bit more reliable. But range was reduced. Base range on all hand cannons reduced by 5. That is huge because the one stat you want on hand cannons is range. And so now they're just going to be even more, higher priority, even though they were already top priority. They're going to actually be requirements for hand cannons to actually be useful. I have this other hand cannon here, this Free Will. I love fast firing hand cannons. Not going to be able to use it now because I do have a range perk on it. It's Hammer Forge, but Hammer Forge basically puts the range back to where it was before this patch. And so it's in my opinion, that's a wasted perk because I don't know, but whatever. So we'll move on. They did fix high caliber rounds for hand cannons and a couple other weapons as well. They also nerfed it for pulse rifles, which we'll get to here in a second. The high caliber rounds is nice because they didn't really work properly on other weapons like the hand cannon. So high caliber rounds, hammer forged, hidden hand. This is a mediocre roll for a hand cannon at best. I was really hoping to see some type of quality of life change for the faster rate of fire, lower impact hand cannons, but I guess that's not the case here. So moving forward, the Palindrome and the Ice Luna, the mid tier, the middle of the road. These are still reliable. I saw that the critical hit damage at range, the damage drop off is actually huge on the hand cannon. So I don't think I actually went into the detail what they were. Reduced base range by 5 from 40 to 35. Reduced minimum damage fall off from 50 to 33%. That's big. The damage fall off at max range for hand cannons, you do less damage, which kind of puts them more in that close medium range combat. And hand cannons, that's kind of where they're supposed to be. So we'll see how this change affects them, making them more consistent at range with sequential shots, like Triple Wreck was what's it called? Testing of course. As he was testing those, it's good. So hand cannons across the board more reliable. Just you notice the damage fall off way more, and so now they're going to be requiring those range perks, of course. So moving on, auto rifles increased precision damage modifier to 1.3 up from 1.25. This is across all auto rifles. It's not just the low rate of fire, high impact ones. It's not just the bullet hoses. It's all auto rifles get this precision damage modifier buff. So that's good. Brings them more in line with all the other primaries. Increased base damage of low rate of fire auto rifles by 2.5. That's good. This includes the Suros regime. So the slow firing Suros regime, that is actually very nice because Suros regime is coming back. I believe Suros regime is going to be very, very strong, regardless of the bug or the unintended nerf that it received that we'll talk about here in a minute. Increased in-air accuracy, good, I guess. Pulse rifles, reduced rate of fire for very high rate pulse rifles by 7.7%. This is Clever Dragon, Grasp of Malik, and the Waltz, which is interesting. I'll talk about in a second. This is good. It's not going to be very noticeable. If you didn't know that the patch notes existed and you just saw a new update for Destiny today and you put your Clever Dragon back on, I really don't think you would notice a change. It's like a frame of difference. In a 30 FPS game, not that big of a deal. A 30th of a second slower on your kill time, it's not going to be huge. Increased low rate of fire pulse rifle damage by 5.3%. That's actually good. I'm going to buy, I think it's I'm going to fly into the tower here. Oh my God, so slow. I think there's a Vanguard Quartermaster pulse rifle that is this tier, so it's going to be, apparently it's a good roll too, so it's very good. I have a Messenger from year one, so I'm going to be using that as well. I think that was my favorite one of my favorite pulse rifles from Vanilla, or Year 1 Destiny, I should say, not Vanilla. Reduce the magazine size of Clever Dragon and Grasp of Malik by 6. Not the Waltz. The Waltz is the Future War Colt pulse rifle that is the same archetype as Clever Dragon and Grasp of Malik. Was not hit by the magazine nerf. So that's actually kind of interesting. If you have a really, really good roll on your Waltz, then you're not affected by this change. Maybe they forgot it. Maybe they intended to miss it because the internet was crying for Clever Dragon and Grasp of Malik nerfs, and no one was thinking about the Waltz. They didn't know it existed, I guess, because they didn't know Scories existed. So maybe they're like that. So I don't really see the pulse rifles for the high rate of fire being that. They didn't nerf it into the ground. So that, like they said, they're not going to nerf it into the ground like the shotguns, which the shotgun changes we'll get to in a second. I don't see any change here, to be honest. I don't think we're going to see much change here in the pulse rifles. I think we're going to see less hand cannons, definitely. Pulse rifles are just going to be there. We're going to see a little bit more auto rifles, I think. But for these next 2 weeks, people are going to try and figure out what the meta is. I don't think we're going to see much change until Destiny 2, or if there's another balance pass coming in the spring, which I doubt. I don't think we're going to see much change because this not as significant as we would like to think. Reduce the effect of high caliber rounds for pulse rifles. This one's interesting because I don't know exactly how it worked before the patch, but my impression is that for high caliber rounds, it applied the high caliber rounds effect to each bullet in the burst of the pulse rifle. I could be totally wrong on that, so please correct me in the comments below. If you just call me out on my bullshit, that's fine. I don't care, because I like giving impressions. This is my opinion. This is my understanding of the high caliber rounds on the pulse rifle. So in a single burst, you got hit with 3 times the effect of high caliber rounds. That's absolutely insane because the Mida multi-tool had the intrinsic high caliber rounds perk before they took it out. That's a scout rifle. I'm using that as an example because it's a scout rifle. 1 bullet gives you the high caliber rounds flinch. In the same amount of time, or roughly the same amount of time, in the same trigger pull, a pulse rifle gives you 3 times that effect. That is way too strong. Way too strong. And I'm glad they actually have changed this for the pulse rifles. So high caliber rounds not going to be as effective on the pulse rifles. That is good. They didn't give any numbers here, but hopefully they nerfed it so that each bullet in the high caliber, or in the burst with high caliber rounds, did 33% of the effect. So hopefully they brought it in line with all the other perks. Increased in-air accuracy. Good. Scout rifles, same thing. Okay, good. So I can jump and shoot now, finally, without using Icarus. Shotguns no longer deal precision damage, which was that the problem in the first place? That they just dealt precision damage? Is that why they were so strong? Because they had that extra? No, that's not how it worked. People aim for the body because no one's going to aim for the head on a shotgun unless it's the Chaperone, which is not unaffected by this change. So I don't really see a change here for the shotgun play. Universal remote only deals precision damage when aiming down the sight. Okay, it's not very popular anymore because they already nerfed it a little bit in a previous patch. I don't know exactly what the change was, but I don't see it that often in the Crucible. So good. Again, I just don't understand why the precision damage being removed is a good thing, because if you're aiming for the head with a shotgun and you're not using the Chaperone, you're shotgunning wrong. That's my opinion, because you want to aim for center mass so you can get the maximum effectiveness. Shotguns now have significantly less magnetism when fired from the hip. That's good. Any type of magnetism in a shooter is going to make it easier to get the kill. This is good. It's going to require you to actually think before pulling the trigger. Shotguns now have significantly less in-air accuracy. That's fine. That's good because blink shotgunners have always been a problem in my opinion. Yes, they've been less effective recently, but the fact that it has less in-air accuracy, that's good. It's going to make a nice change. Shotguns no longer have a movement penalty. This one's not very specific, but I think what it's referring to is, and this gives us context for a later change that a lot of people are just confused about. Shotguns no longer have a movement penalty. I believe one of the nerfs previously to shotgun play, I think it was around the Taken King or halfway through the Taken King with the April update last year, was that the readiness period for the shotgun after blinking, jumping, sprinting, sliding, any of that, I believe that was reduced significantly. So you brought your shotgun up a lot slower, or not a lot, just a little bit slower after those movement abilities. I think they're removing that. I think that now after you blink or jump or slide or sprint, your shotgun's going to be ready a little bit quicker. So they're reverting that change that they previously implemented, which gives us context to, I'll just talk about it now, the quick draw. Where is it here? Quick draw perk for the Blade Dancer and the Viper Totemic or Ophidian Aspects change. A lot of people are saying this is nerfing Blade Dancer into the ground, which I kind of agree with, because Blade Dancer has always been about agility and speed. But the quick draw perk is, or was, weapon ready immediately after swap, sprint, blink, jump, anything like that, slide. So now your weapon is no longer ready immediately. It's now increasing the equip speed, basically. And Sassy, I'm going to actually pull this up, Sassy, because Sassy and I talked about this on Twitter, and this was his response. If you know this GIF, then you already know this change, kind of the same, but different, but still the same. So the equip speed of the shotgun is going to be faster, but it can't stack with quick draw anymore. I guess it can stack with quick draw, but it's just not ready immediately. So using quick draw on a shotgun previously negated the movement penalty. Now they're removing the movement penalty and they're adjusting quick draw to account for that. I don't really think that's necessary, because the movement penalty was fine. I think you could have just left the movement penalty in and left quick draw the way it was, because a lot of people, I don't know. I don't have a problem with weapons ready immediately. Plan C, the exotic perk, is it's ready immediately and charges nearly instantly. That's not that big of a problem for me. So I'm going to expect to see a lot more Plan C kills. So there we go. We're not done with shotguns. Let's go back. Shotguns now deal 20% more damage to combatants. We didn't mention this in the show because we were not 100% sure on what this exactly means. My impression and my understanding is that combatants is PvE, because they did mention they're adjusting shotguns effectiveness in Crucible, but they want to buff it for PvE. So combatants, my impression, is enemies of the darkness and not guardians. So I believe this is the case. If this deal 20% more damage is in Crucible, shotguns are the same, in my opinion. But I don't think that's the case, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, of course. Again, call me on my bullshit. I don't care, because these are my impressions. And this impressions videos like this show the community and show Bungie that, of course, nobody from Bungie is actually going to watch this, but it shows that sometimes these patch notes are not as detailed or informative as they need to be. You know, combatants is a very vague word to use here. 20% more damage against minions of the darkness, because many of their perks say against minions of the darkness. Why not just use that? Because Destiny players are going to understand what that means, and not this word. I don't know exactly what that means. Rangefinder on shotguns now increases ADS time by 25%. That's actually very good. Rangefinder makes the shotgun clunkier. That's good, because before people would just basically quick scope with the shotgun and immediately gets the rangefinder benefit by just tapping the zoom in button. Not anymore. That's gone. Universal remote magazine size reduced to 3 from 5. Good, I guess. Universal remote now takes longer to reload. So basically, universal remote just becoming clunkier in the hands for users. So I guess that's a good thing. Exotics Young Wolf's Howl for the 7 or 1 of you, because Sassy is the only person I've ever seen use this weapon in Crucible. Good for you. And if you're using Young Wolf's Howl instead of Raise Lighter or Dark Drinker in PvE, then you are in the extreme minority. So this will help you out a little bit. Yay. Truth reduced magazine size from 3 to 1. Oh, man. Bye. Bye, Felicia. I guess that's what the kids say these days. That's huge because I think originally the truth was magazine size of 2 in Vanilla Destiny, and then they upped it to 3 to kind of balance it against the Vanilla Gallahorn, which was just overpowered in general. Now they're reducing it to 1. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. Apparently, this weapon was a huge problem in Trials and Iron Banner. It's banned in competitive and sweat rules. Heavy is in general, so I don't really think it would have been a problem there. I didn't really see it used that much in Iron Banner the last time I played it. I don't know where this nerf is coming from. It could have gone down to 2, and that would have been fine. I think that would have been like, okay, yeah, truth was a little bit too powerful. That's good. To 1, no, that is significant. That is significant. Does it still keep all 4 rounds? So you have 1 in the chamber and 3 in reserves for a total of 4 without any heavy perks on your armor? Who knows? Classes, general, reduced health of guardians, armor value above 10. This is kind of goes in hand with this next point. Increased damage of flux grenade, magnetic grenade, and shoulder charge to ensure effectiveness across armor values. They are guaranteeing 1-hit kills for flux grenade, magnetic grenade, and shoulder charge. Because if you had max armor before, then you could withstand a lot of things that were supposed to be 1-hit kills, and now they're just adjusting for that. Blink now disables your radar and HUD for a short time after activation. It's going to be a lot more risky to blink into a group of enemies with your shotgun, sidearm, whatever, what have you, because that having that immediate knowledge after the blink of where your enemy is, if you're not judging where you're aiming with your blink, then this is going to be a problem because you're not going to know, oh crap, where's the enemy, because I can't see exactly where he is. So I actually kind of like that change. I don't think it was necessary though. Blink was, I think, in a good spot. I think this is to prevent blink shotgunners. I think that's what this specific change is for. So yeah. Hunter throwing knife now deals solar damage on impact. Yay. Solar burn nightfalls or heroic strikes are now easier with your throwing knife. So good. Hungering blade asterisk. Oh man, this asterisk. Oof. We'll get there. Immediately starts health regen, restores more health per kill, gives a flat amount of health and shield per activation, does not immediately start, or health and or shield, I should say, not and. Does not immediately start regenerating shields. Okay, so, buy Blade Dancers. Don't use Blade Dancer in Crucible because you're just, unless you really want a challenge, don't use Blade Dancer in Crucible, because before, Hungering Strike is the perk for Blade Dancer that regenerates your health on a melee kill or the Blade Dance Super, of course. And when you got a kill with it, it immediately started regenerating both your shield and your health at the exact same time. Not anymore. It's going to start the health regeneration, and your shield's going to stay the same. But it also grants you an additional flat amount of health, which can spill over into your shield. So say I'm at 80 health, right? And the max health of a Guardian is 100. I'm just throwing those numbers out there. I don't know if they're accurate or not. Say I'm damaged to 80 health. I get a kill with my Hungering Blade, whether that's super or not. I get 40 health. Again, I'm just giving that number out. I think that's what he said in the stream. I get 40 health, and then my health starts to regenerate. But I was at 80 health. That would put me at 120 health, but the max is 100. So 20 shield is going to be granted as well. It's going to put me at 100 health and give me 20 additional shield. Now say I'm at 20 health. It gives me that 40 health. So I'm at 60 health immediately after the kill, and then it starts regenerating my health from there, not the shields. So this is what we refer to as sustain or tankiness in other games. So I'm thinking specifically League of Legends because that's one of the other games I play, one of the 3. This is referred to sustained fighting. So how long can I stay in a fight by regenerating my health or just withstanding a lot of damage? Just makes me tankier, makes me stay in fights a little bit longer. it's interesting because this was not just for Blade Dancers, which we'll get to the asterisks in just a second. Blade Dancer's quick draw perk no longer readies your weapons instantly, but now grants a large increase to weapon handling speed. What exactly is weapon handling speed? Weapon handling destiny. I want a Reddit thread because I trust Reddit more than anything. Just a question. So the handling stat, readying the weapon, so pulling it up, putting it away, so putting it down. So there's two parts to equipping a weapon, putting your current one away and pulling the other one up. ADS speed and mobility, time it takes to have the weapon ready to aim or fire after falling, jumping, sprinting, sliding, meleeing, etc. So basically equip speed, he says, is listed as equip speed in a lot of the databases. So that's what that is. Again, I think it's just to counteract the fact that they removed the shotgun movement penalty readiness. So it's kind of the same thing. Your weapon's not ready immediately, but it's still going to be very quick. Same, but different, but still the same. Just like Sassy said perfectly. Same thing with the Viper, Totemic, or Ophidian Aspect. Good. Same change across the board. Stormcaller's Thunderstrike melee range reduced to be consistent with other Warlock subclasses. Amplitude will continue to grant a small range boost to the new base range. I saw a graph somewhere on Reddit, I think it was Crucible Playbook, about the melee distances, and like a Blink Strike, or like a standard Hunter melee was 4 meters. Blink Strike was 4.9 meters. Standard Warlock melee was like 6 meters. And like the Thunder Strike without Amplitude was like 7 or 8 meters, and then Amplitude gives them an additional 7 or some crap like that. I'm just throwing those numbers out there. This is bringing it more in line. Thunderstrike is just overpowered, in my opinion. I'm not a Warlock main, so of course I'm going to say that. Bringing it more in line with other Warlock subclasses, that's good, because anything that outshines anything else is not balanced. Landfall now reduces total time in Storm Trance. Oh no, from 24 seconds to 17 seconds, or whatever crap it is. Sorry, with my Acleophage Symbiote. I'm a Hunter main, by the way, if you've gotten this far in this video and you're wondering why I'm complaining about Hunters. I'm a Hunter main. I'm sitting over here with my Acleophage Symbiote, 7-second super, so yay. I saw some theories about this on the internet, and by the internet I of course mean Reddit. The fact that Landfall, there's Warlock gauntlets that grant Landfall, so maybe if you use that perk, your Storm Trance duration is not decreased. So try that out. Yay, you can still be overpowered. Of course I'm going to be salty. Sorry, Warlocks. Titan Juggernaut is now disabled after being in the air for a short time. Not the problem with Juggernaut. Not at all. This is specifically for skaters, and Titan skaters are the minority, the extreme minority. I would wager less than 5% of Titans skate. And the problem with Juggernaut is that it tanks way too many things. It takes a golden gunshot. That's the problem, because of course I'm a Hunter. I'm going to say it's overpowered. So not the problem with Juggernaut, but while we're here, let's go ahead and check out the what's it called? The Vanguard Quartermaster. See what we have here. Sorry, this is taking a long time. But for context, what we're doing is we're checking to see if the low rate of fire, high impact pulse rifle from the Vanguard Quartermaster is good. So that's a pulse rifle. Yes. Okay, good. Head Seeker, perfect, just like the Messenger. Perfect balance, that's good. Rifle bear, increased range, I actually really like that. Life support and rodeo. Life support, supposedly, maybe not nerfed because it wasn't mentioned, or if it was nerfed, then they didn't mention it. So that's going to be something that they left out. Has Steady Hand IS and OEG. I think OEG is one of my preferred scopes. That's what it's called. But it has Steady Hand, so that's good. I don't think I can buy it because I don't have any slots open. Let's just get rid of that, because I was hoping, I guess Grim Citizen was of the archetype that was buffed, so I shouldn't have dismantled that, but oh well, I'm not going to use it ever, so There. So I purchased one. You should too. Moving on. General Outbreak Prime no longer triggered. Okay, fine. Shinobu's Vow no longer adds an additional secret to skip grenades, so another nerf to Blade Dancers. Good. I didn't want to use it anyways, thanks. Removed intrinsic perks, knee pads, and Icarus on some talent grids. Again, this is where the patch notes are very vague. I assume this means subclass talents like this. This would be a subclass talent. That's what I'm assuming this is. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm assuming that's what it is because, or just any of these, like any of these nodes would be talents. Whatever. So let me know what that means because Bungie didn't explain it very well. Fixed an issue where high caliber rounds were not functioning properly. I mentioned that. So yay, that's going to be good. Hungering Strike, we're going to review this post just very briefly, but all these other health and shield regeneration perks have been nerfed as well because of the Hungering Blade Dancer Strike changes. And that this actually makes me happy because I was very annoyed that this change was implemented in the first place because he said, we found that, and by we, I mean I found that it was very frustrating to play against Blade Dancers because they could just regenerate health. Well, what about all these other perks that you've listed here? Because I didn't mention it, and they unintentionally nerfed these perks as well. Awesome. So, not only were you going to nerf just Blade Dancers for being frustrating to play against, but you were going to leave all these other perks in the game that regenerate shields and health at the same time without even touching them. That just makes you biased against hunters, Blade Dancers specifically, because you're like, but I'm a hunter main. Nope. You should base nerfs and buffs off of statistics and usage in the game and not off personal feelings. Boom. That's how game design should work. But of course, I'm not a game designer. So I have always thought cauterize was a problem. I am so salty at Sunbreaker Titans because I'm a hunter main, because how the super works, how many hammers you get to throw, how long it lasts, how tanky you get as a roaming super when a hunter's golden gun is, I want to say fragile. That's my opinion. But of course, I'm just a salty hunter main, so of course I'm going to complain about other things that kill me in the Crucible because that's how it works. A couple things I want to point out here. Our test team discovered that the changes to the Blade Dancer Hungering Blade were being applied to several other health regen perks. Here's a quote. QA caught this after they agreed to push the patch out, and quality assurance QA, they must have said, this is a huge nerf. This is way too game changing. We need to not put this patch out, or we need to not put this change in the patch at all. And someone higher up the chain said, nope, just go ahead and do it, see what happens. And that's what they kind of said here. They kind of just want to see how it plays out. Okay, cool. So that's awesome. And then I want to highlight this paragraph. I guess it's a paragraph, but it's also a sentence or a phrase because it ends in an ellipses. Have a first date with a potential scory fix. So it's like they heard about this. The community wanted a change to scories because apparently it was a problem in trials because people would just camp for scories and get their supers up and just stomp the other team. When they heard about scories being a problem at the live stream, they're like, oh, yeah, we need to test this balance patch. And so that's when they found all this stuff. They're like, oh, crap. What I think happened here is, and I'm going to use a little bit of IT knowledge because that's just how much of a dork I am. Instead of changing the Hunter's Blade Dancer's perk for Hungering Blade, they targeted health and shield regen instead. So think of a line of dominoes, right? I say this in Destiny the Show, so if you've heard the podcast, you know what I'm talking about. And the last domino in the chain is the Hungering Strike perk. Well, they made the change 10 dominoes before that. So knocking that domino down affected the next 9. That's a big issue. So I'm going to use IT knowledge here as well for another analogy here. This is just my files. So the way file permissions work is they can be inherited by every folder within that parent folder. So if I just pick my application file here or drive, I can see multiple different folders, and within these folders I have, let's just pick music, right? I have other folders as well, or if I pick videos, I have other folders with more content. If I actually, I went back up, so here I'm at the drive, I'm going to go in 1. If I pick this folder, I can go into properties, right? I can go into security, I can see the permissions for people whoever has access to view this file, right? Well, I can hit replace all child objects, all child permissions. Everything within this folder is going to take the permissions that I define here in this folder. That's what happened. This is where the health and shield regen perks folder was. And they said, nerf that. And within all of those folders was Cauterize, Hungering Strike, Red Death, Suros Regime, all that other crap. The life support perk that I mentioned that they didn't list but could be affected by this change inherited all those changes. So that's a big issue. And you typically don't want to do that. So yeah, so sorry if that was annoying and nerdy, but that's just how I thought of it initially. I'm like, oh, folder permissions, duh. That's it affected all this other crap. So yeah, so actually I'm just going to do this because I have the time and it's a video and I can do this. So I'm going to do health regen perks. And within this folder, we had weapons and titans and warlocks. And then within the weapons, we had Suros Regime and Red Death. And then going back, we had warlocks. We have the lifesteal perk. Lifesteal. And then with titans, we have Cauterize. Not even that. We have Sunbreaker. My bad. We have Sunbreaker. And then we have Cauterize. I don't care if I misspell it because it's just a video. Warlocks. We don't even have this yet. We're going to cut that. We're going to put new. We're going to do Voidwalker. And within the Voidwalker, we have the thing. So every folder within this health regen perks, I'm going to nerf the effectiveness, and I'm just going to remove. I can, hang on, authenticate users. I'm just going to add, no, I can't do that because I don't have another account. But I just imagine this was regen health and shields. I'm just going to remove that. No, of course not. I'm just going to remove that and change it to flat health, health regen. Whatever. That's a really bad and super long way to explain it. I like the dominoes a little bit better because that's more relatable to a lot of people. Yeah, so that's patch 2502. I'm going to anticipate that sidearms are going to rule. I don't have any sidearms on my Guardian right now because it's all fusion rifles, because I was hoping that we'd see a fast charge and low impact fusion rifles get a buff. I guess not. So, okay. Yeah, that's it. Sidearms are going to be king. No Land Beyond Sidearm in trials this weekend. Have fun. Let me know what you thought. If I got anything wrong, let me know, please. Call me out on my bullshit because that's how we roll here on the channel. That is it for Destiny Hotfix 2502. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.